Hey everybody, welcome to Bad Relationship Advice with Damien and Monica. Today's topic is freeganism. What is it? Who are the freegans? And Monica's going to tell us about this. Monica's been doing this for a while. Tell us about this new, is it a cult? What is it?
Well, I don't know. Can you call it, I guess, a food cult? Maybe. I guess it's like a, um, I've been doing it. Well, I am actually doing something right now, which is trying to live on a €1 per day budget. So,
For food.
for food, yeah, for food. And so far, I have spent, hold on, wait for it. I cannot I spent I'm like a little below budget, so it's a 12, so I spent like 11 something euros, so I'm just within budget. And yeah, so that entails basically being a freegan and getting my food from anything that people discard. Well, not anything, but things like mostly vegetables and fruit from the farmers market. Getting food from in front of supermarkets, that where supermarkets will discard lots of food that has just become expired mostly. So it's anything from eggs, pie shells, whatever, also fruit, vegetables, just anything pretty much at all. I haven't really needed to buy anything. I've just had to buy like soy milk. I haven't been able to find that. Olive oil, and that's really about it, actually.
So freeganism is basically it's a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet, but it's freegan because you're getting food from, like you said, supermarkets and farmers markets that is going to be thrown away.
It's actually a freegan diet, meaning it's anything goes. Like you could eat anything. It could be meat, it could be whatever you want to eat. It's basically anything free, all free food basically that has already been discarded.
So take me through a typical freegan scavenging hunt.
So it depends, because I do two things. Like one would be just going to the farmers market, and at the end of like when it's closing time, we just sort of hang out and just maybe help the merchants with throwing out their crates, putting it on piles, and then in those crates you just kind of look and see what has been thrown out. Some of them will work for you and just give you stuff that they know they're not going to sell. Sometimes they'll give you stuff because you've been helping them. Like today that happened. This guy gave me some apples because I helped him with some crates. But I even told him, I said, you don't have to give us anything. We're just picking up whatever you guys are going to throw out. But he was just being cool. Some people will actually hide stuff. Like there's like the seafood. So we'll have to go in and actually look for the seafood, which they'll try to hide it from us, which is kind of, I think, pretty messed up. But that would entail like really kind of getting in there, going into the bins and just pulling out styrofoam boxes and trying to see if you can find any fish. But
so this is fish, this is seafood that's been thrown away, but they throw it away in such a way that you wouldn't notice it or you wouldn't see it. It's buried.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So yeah.
Is it because maybe they don't want you to get sick?
No, because they don't want us to not buy their fish. They figure if we're not buying their fish, we might as well not have it. Because okay. they just discarded then and there, so the fish has not had the time to go bad. So yeah, so I guess we could say there's different, it's people who will work with you, others not so much. The way with supermarkets, like if you have a garbage can which is out in a public space, then legally we're allowed to go through it. But if it's on the premises of that store, then we're not allowed to go in through it legally. And so some supermarkets will work with you if they know who you are. I think that, there is some justification to, if you're not respectful, that they might think like you're just going to be there and throwing like garbage out on the ground and like, you know, and they're gonna have to deal with the mess. But we're, at least the people that I know are pretty respectful and we try to be helpful and so on. So if you have that rapport already, then it's fine. You know, they'll work with you and stuff. So
You've sent me some pictures of your haul from your freaking expeditions, and I was pretty blown away at the not only the quantity of food that you're getting, but also the quality. I mean, here's a crate full of beautiful radishes, limes, oranges, lemons, big thing of mushrooms, bananas, grapes, and there's even some stuff like, I don't know if if this was part of it, the goat cheese and like these crackers and
yeah.
I mean eggs. I mean even stuff that comes in containers, like I don't know if that's a honey or an oil or something like that. But I mean just this is a lot of money worth of food if you were to buy it in the store, and you're getting it for free because it's been thrown away.
Yeah, and the thing that I think you kind of have to get over a couple of things, which is one, you have to get over the fact that you're going into a garbage can. And I think for some people it'd be a really hard thing to sort of get past that barrier. Like I'm not that person kind of thing.
And
But
are we
once you sort
talking
of,
about a dumpster, like a huge, you know what I mean? Like, are we talking, what kind of garbage can are we talking about here?
yeah, like a big, it would be like a dump, like if you're talking stores, it'd be like the dumpster from the store. But it's really like literally you open the lid. It depends, right? But if it's that's why it has to be like when the store has just kind of thrown out their stuff that they're not going to use because it's expired. So you open it and it's not things that are half eaten that you're taking. You were taking like brand new boxes of stuff and you're just picking it out and you're taking it away. So it's sometimes they'll like cover it or put it in a bag, but it's pretty easy to find. And a lot of this stuff, I think people freak out over things like expiration dates. They just figure like the minute something like that, you know, like it turns midnight and the food is bad. That's not how it works. So you just have to use your own common sense. Most things, like I made a pastry pie today, and the shell, I got it from my friend, and it was like a week old. And I'm like, what do you think? Do you think I can use it? And she's like, yeah, totally. It's like you just like smell it, you look at it, is it okay? It is. And I haven't had any issues with like food poisoning, nothing like that. And you use common sense. Like if it looks good, if it smells okay, if everything's, then it's gonna be fine. I'm a little bit now, I'm not as hardcore in the terms of meat. I still do have this thing where I don't eat meat anyway, so it's not hard for me not to eat the meat. But I'm a little bit less, more reluctant on meat because you don't know how long it's been sitting out there.
Right.
But
And
people
some
will,
things
people will
like
eat that.
some bacteria like salmonella, if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't really have a taste to it. So you could eat it and not realize you were eating it.
Yeah, like I wouldn't eat like chicken or, you know, whatever. But I've been eating a lot of eggs, for example, and that you can usually tell if eggs have gone bad, and most of them are last way beyond the expiration date. So it's not at all a problem. And a lot of things you can also use for other purposes. So not just, you know, like eggs, for example, it's great hair conditioner. If you have too many eggs, you could put in your hair. Yogurt you could put on your face or your hair. There's lots of things you can you could put it in the earth. It's good for your plants. So there's lots of things that you can also use it for other things. And since I started this thing, I realized there's also things that you can use that serve multifunction. So because I'm on my €1 a day budget, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to buy dishwashing liquid. So what else do I have? Oh, I got some free shower gel. I can use it to wash my dishes. It's totally fine. It's not, you know, so there's a lot of things that you kind of realize either you have already or you can kind of stretch it out in different ways. And I think also having a budget, being on a budget, you kind of force yourself to do with what you have.
Right.
And you're like, you have less of this impulse of, oh, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I'm just going to go to the store, grab something, and not even realize like, okay, you actually can make a meal with what you already have most of the time. And so whatever I make is like, I just add on, maybe I'll buy an extra ingredient. You know, I bought some coconut milk. you know, to make some like curry or whatever. But the curry and batch cooking also helps a lot. So I have so much stuff that I froze, and I just eat stuff that I've, you know, like today I had my soup that I've made like a week ago that I froze. I have all the soup in the freezer. Anyway, so it makes me realize, and the thing that's kind of funny is like I feel like I'm at a surplus all the time. Like
Oh, wow.
it's actually hard to, for me, like the challenge is eating all the food I get. And so, and also I feel like I eat way better than I did before because I have so many vegetables and fruit that I have to go through that I eat way better as a freegan than when I buy food, you know, on my own.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You're not actually going out and picking and choosing the things that you want to eat. It's like you get what you can, and
Yeah.
that might be stuff you wouldn't have necessarily bought, maybe even because of the price, but now you've got it and you've got to eat it because you don't want to waste it.
Yeah,
So,
and also learn how to cook. That's a good point because you also learn how to cook all kinds of things because you don't because you're like, okay, what do I do with all of a sudden I got like 20 zucchinis or something. I'm like, what do I do with all the zucchini? So I've been making like zucchini bread. I've made like, you know, this kind of like a mix, like a vegetable mix, like, you know, with zucchini or like random stuff that I wouldn't have thought to necessarily make zucchini with. I'll leave like some of it outside to see if people pick it up. People have picked it up. So it's also a good way to kind of give it also away to other people who will
yeah.
just take, you know. Um
Now, if somebody
so
wanted to get started in freegan as a freegan, you know, what's step one? Like, for example, there's a farmer's market here in my town. So do I just show up in the last 10 minutes of the farmer's market and just start talking to people?
yeah, just show up and just observe. That's how I started. I just showed up and I just started observing, and I noticed like people, mostly women actually, are doing it. They'll like just be there and they'll just like start, you know, looking through crates, doing this, and then just kind of like look around, see, and, you know, strike up some conversations with people, and eventually you start to be part of like the freedom community in a way, and then you start doing the same thing. You just pick up, see what's there, maybe try to help out, you know, the people that are selling if they need help with like carrying crates back. I mean, I don't know how it is in the States, but in France it's pretty it's that's how it works here. You know, they have like a pile of crates, and then, you know, and then we help them out, and the people that pick up the crates after the garbage men, like they also, like if they see stuff they'll give it to us. And also being okay with like picking up fruit and vegetables that doesn't look perfect, because the thing is like, okay, something may look bruised or, you know, whatever, but like you can eat half of it, you can cut it off, you can make
Yeah.
apple pie with it or whatever. Like you don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'll just pick up whatever vegetables I find, and then just, or fruit, and then just cut it and make it into stuff. So yeah, so it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, but also you kind of have to get past the thing. It's almost like going to a bar for the first time, and you feel weird if you go by yourself. You're like, oh, that's weird, and so on. So you kind of have to get over this sort of whatever hangups you may have about like picking up food that's discarded. But if you think about how much food we waste
Oh
globally,
my gosh.
it's about a third of food that's produced gets wasted.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
That's awful.
Most of it ends up in landfills. It's a huge problem for the environment. So the other thing we do is like I always compost all the food that I pick up. So even if, you know, I don't, you know, some of it goes bad, I'm not going to eat it, I'll put it in compost. So it's just kind of like giving like yeah, it's like, I don't know how to put it, like recycling the food or something. Or so then you just kind of, and now when it's weird because when I go to a store now it just feels kind of fake. I'm just like, well, this isn't like, what am I going to buy here? I can get most of this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So
Now,
yeah.
how often do you go freeganing?
I do it, I would say like, I didn't go yesterday because, well, it was just, I was a bit hungover, honestly, but like on, I went today. I went I would say like 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Sometimes once, sometimes twice, it depends. I have a friend who's hardcore free and she goes all the time. That's like her life. She's like, if I were a millionaire, I would still be a freegan. You know, it is kind of like, you could think of it as a real belief that some people have in terms of, you know, food waste and all of that. Other people do because, well, they don't have a lot of means.
Yeah.
I think that's how you kind of start out. And then once you start realizing how much you can, first of all, save, and also how it's really kind of helping reduce food waste, you get a little addicted to it, because it's almost like having a surprise each time. You never know what you're going to get, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
also an element of surprise.
So we have about 5 minutes left. So I'm wondering, like, you said at the beginning of the podcast that you now that you've kind of gotten pretty adept at this, you've actually taken on a challenge, like a freaking challenge. And you've said that the goal is to spend no more than €1 a day on food for
30 days.
30 days. And it's going pretty well.
Yeah, like I said, like today's the what is the 12th? So I think I'm like at 11 years and 30 centimes. I got some soy milk today, so but it's
You're
like
under budget.
Yeah, I'm totally like, and and again, I have a friend who's a freak, and she has a lot of stuff that she'll just give me. Like I was at her house today. I'm just like, yeah, I probably need to get some oatmeal. And she's like, oh no, I have some. I have this. It's just like, there's this whole like, and also because she's a little OCD, it's kind of funny because like if I'll just kind of throw something out there, like, I'm thinking about buying this. No, don't do it. And she'll like make sure I don't.
She makes it her personal mission.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, and so that also translates to other things, not just food, but just like things in general. We overconsume. There's so much waste that there's so many things that you can just find as opposed to buying. And I mean, doing this, I don't feel at all deprived or, that I'm like, I just don't really feel like there's not really much that I feel like I want that I can't have being on this, €30 a month budget. After, I'm probably going to be a little less strict, but I seriously doubt I'll go back to just like going grocery shopping. I honestly don't see the point. It seems like almost like a joke to me now. Like, why would I can get all this food for free? What's the point? And I'm helping.
It seems like a major lifestyle change. Not like it doesn't seem like you're making these big sacrifices. It seems like it's working out even better than you thought it would.
Yeah. And again, like I feel way healthier because I mean, I already eat pretty well, I guess, like health wise, but it's just, I'm forced to eat so many vegetables all the time. Like I don't have the space to like be eating like crappy food, and then that week you could save like 400 or 500 euros or dollars or whatever a month. And I mean, if you calculate that per, for the year, right?
That's thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So that's like, what, $4,000 or something more, $5,000, depending, right? Let's say, okay, calculate that by 10 years. If you do it, $50,000, right? That's a lot of money that you can save, and you can really do something with that. So, so it also kind of buys a little bit of financial freedom too for certain people. If you want to save money, this is a great way to do it. And it's just like a win on so many levels. Again, you just have to kind of get past the whole thing with being like freaked out about something being past an expiration date. But if you even do it on the farmer's market, it's so like, I mean, it's just fruit and vegetables. If it's bad, you can tell, right? And again, we waste so much food. Just even having the thing of, I'm going to eat everything that's in my house already, you will see that that's a lot of money you're going to save. And you're going to reduce food waste, just by virtue of eating everything you buy, not even beyond, besides just doing a freaking thing, but also just eating everything that's in your fridge.
That's awesome. Pantry.
So
sweet. Well, Monica, I wish you much luck in your freaking endeavors. Now I'm very tempted to try to, at least like next time I go to the grocery store, I'm just going to kind of, like you said, I think starting out with observation and just seeing where does all this food actually go? And then I think that's probably going to be step one. It's like,
yeah, well, I'm wondering how it is in the States too, like how accessible these bins are, whether you could just, because I can imagine like sometimes they'll probably have them in like a specific area where people,
or they're locked.
Yeah, exactly. Which is so messed up,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it would be interesting to see like if you tried it out, like what you can pick up. And again, you don't have to be 100% freaking, but just you could do like half, go to the farmer's market, whatever, just pick up and telling other friends, like having friends also, like I have a lot of compulsive
Network.
shopping, and they'll be like, okay, I don't want this, you want this, because they know you're a freaking, they'll just like give you stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
I got like a big box of raspberries, beautiful raspberries, like the other day. There's all this like cheese, whatever, really good, like not even like, just that someone like they're like, I'm not gonna eat this, you want it, sure, and I have no problem. I have so much food. It's like I'm constantly trying to figure out how to make sure I eat all of it. I think that's the biggest challenge, honestly.
Awesome. Well, Monica, thank you so much for talking to us today about freeganism. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Damien.
Okay, well, we'll see you next time on Bad Relationship Advice. Bye.
Bye.